Banger at light heavyweight. We got a couple of them on this card. Black Jag, Carlos Ulberg, the former King of the Ring champ, is going to be taking on Sseda. Well, it's just Sseda. It's Woon Jung. And when we look at a fight like this, Matt, I'm not going to make a ton of musical references for this one. But if you look at Woon Jung and all of his performances in the UFC, a very shiny record. He's lost his last 2 fights. He's not favored to win this one. It's like Katy Perry's old hit. Guy's hot and he's cold. And I never know what version of Woon Jung we're going to get. You look at the last 2 wins that he has. Over one, Kennedy and Nzechukwu, close the distance, hand fighting, lands those standing elbows. He gets the win there. 1 over William Knight. He's able to beat him in every single facet of the game. And I know Knight went out on a bad streak and he lost outside of the UFC since. But when you looked at that performance from Woon Jung, you thought, wow, he's able to overpower William Knight and do all of these great things. That's awesome. Jung's performance before that split draw against Sam Alvey, where Jung just didn't look great as it went on. So for me, with Woon Jung, the striking on the outside, his boxing's his best weapon. His offensive wrestling's pretty good. And when you're taking on a guy like Carlos Ulberg, who is one of those kickboxers to the nth degree to a certain range here at light heavyweight, it could be tough, especially if you look at Jung's last 2 losses. Dustin Jacoby finishing him relatively early, and then Devin Clark. Jacoby, we know the glory lineage. Carlos Ulberg, he's won 4 straight since he lost 2. Kennedy and Nzechukwu. So if we're playing that tinfoil hat MMA math, well, Jung wins because he beat Nzechukwu and Carlos Ulberg lost. But if you look at Ulberg's recent string of performances, beat Ihor Potieria, beat Nikolai Negu Mariano, beat Tafon Chukwe, and beat Fabio Charant, even though Ulberg was looking like he was going to lose or was losing against Tafon. He's able to get the win there. It's just, for Ulberg, we've seen him grow against the level of competition. And for Woon Jung, we've seen the opposite lately.
So here's the thing. You're telling me a guy on a 2-fight losing streak is going to go fight another guy the UFC wants to be a star in what's basically his hometown. I understand he's from New Zealand, but it's very, very close to where he's from, and he's going to get a big pop from the crowd.
Like, wow, it's like when Adam Fugett fought Mike Malott in Vancouver. Who's closer? Fugett. Who got booed? Fugett.
My point is, if this was boxing, Carlos Ulberg would be like a minus 7,000 favorite, because if it goes to a decision, he wouldn't lose. I just mean for Ulberg, this has all of the recipes for, hey, Ulberg's going to win some crazy stoppage victory. Now, with me saying those words, it basically just guaranteed Woon Jung the greatest win of his career, but I do think Jung is going to have a really hard time from that outside where we normally see him have a lot of success. That's the thing. If you're a striker on the outside, that's great. I'm really happy for you. You know what type of fighters you don't want to fight if you're a striker on the outside? Guys like Carlos Ulberg, who use that distance very well, move their feet very well, and if they aren't under the threat of either a massive puncher or someone who can go for a high volume of takedowns, which for Jung, it's been a weird mixed bag, right? In some fights, he will have great offensive wrestling, but we also have seen him just not really use it at all and kind of be happy to stand on the feet and trade with his opponent. So until I see Jung be very committed to the takedown in this matchup, it is difficult to see him, A, be able to set up those takedowns from range with his own strikes, and if he's not able to get the respect of Ulberg and just finds himself shooting in from a further distance than he wants to, well, that's just going to help the counter strikes of Ulberg that much more.
And Jung, he's got to build it back up for Korean MMA. Obviously, we saw the zombie.
Tears were in my eyes.
Tears flowing. But yeah, Korean Zombie losing here the other week to Max Holloway. For Jung coming into the UFC, standing guillotine against Khadas Ibrahimov. He beat Slow Mike Rodriguez. These are building blocks. He was a big guy over with heat. He beat Hulk. You know, Hideki Sakine, that guy. A lot of fun fights.
Not a young man.
A lot of crazy fights. But if you look at it for Jung, he hadn't lost from 2015 until most recently. And that was the last to heavyweight Rocky Martinez. So it had been a while for Woon Jung, a really long win streak. And if he's able to get the grappling going, the wrestling going that we've seen in maybe the William Knight fight, or the grappling to jiu-jitsu against Khadas Ibrahimov, a guy who was a boxer coming in, then maybe Jung's able to get the win. I don't like the line on Carlos Ulberg. I know what you said. You know, he is fan favorite, I guess. Like, do you get your girlfriend to watch a Carlos Ulberg
Of course
fight?
not!
Yeah, exactly. Good answer. So, when you do look at it for Ulberg, he attracts eyeballs.
Bro, my girlfriend's on the same planet as you. Please don't be on TV.
Carlos Ulberg, Matt, 1,093 total Tapology votes, 95% Ulberg, 86% by knockout for the 5% of Jung supporters, 38% by decision, 36% by knockout. Again, if Jung's able to go out there and wear on Carlos Ulberg, we saw what happened against Kennedy and Nzechukwu. First round, Ulberg looks like a dynamo. Second round, he's got no cardio, and he gets finished by Nzechukwu. Jung could wear on him, tire the arms out, go out there and fight a Blagoy-Ivanov fight. Just wear on him, snap down City like your Tony Ferguson, and make it a boring fight, and Jung could win if he's able to slow down that timepiece. I do like Ulberg on the outside with the kicks. We'll see how this one goes, but I'm going with Black Jag.
I rarely say this. I think Ulberg's going to win by stoppage. I just think he's that much faster than Dalian Jung, especially on the outside.
When Jung wins, you're going to look like
That's fine, and I own
turkey.
up to it every time I do look like a turkey. And I rarely make predictions like this. Craig, you also said Chinya Njokuani was going to stop Michael Oleksiejczuk. So, listen, we all have predictions that go south.
I've had 135-odd predictions this year that have been wrong. If you're going to pick out a few of them...
Wait, like you just tried to do with me? Wait, the mental gymnastics that are being played to my right. I've got Carlos Ulberg, and I do think he's going to stop Dalian Jung.
A big-time fight in this one. Both of us going with City Kickboxing's Carlos Ulberg to get the win. Matt, we move it on to the main card, and it sucks. We get some fights, and you're going to enjoy them. We're going to break them down. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.